Hi, Hugo Reed. I have a book called A Very Big Bunny by Marissa Russo. She must have done both of the words and the picture. She must be the author and the illustrator because we only have one name. Very big bunny. Amelia was a bunny, a very big bunny. You really stand out in a crowd, said Mama. You're always the star of the show, said Daddy. But Amelia didn't want to stand out in the crowd or be the star of the show. She wanted to be a bunny, a not so big bunny. Sometimes there's things about ourselves we wish were different, right? She's wishing she wasn't so big. In school, Amelia was the biggest bunny in her class. Miss Arugula liked to line up the class in size order. That's why Amelia was always last. Going to gym, going to the library, going to the cafeteria. There she is. At recess, none of the other bunnies wanted to play with Amelia. We can't turn the jump rope high enough for you, said Lavinia. Your feet are too big for hopscotch, added Daphne. And the seesaw was out of the question. I think they could have figured those things out. What do you think? That seems not very kind to me. A seesaw or a teeter-totter? Have any of you played on those? We don't have that in our playground. So Amelia stood by the fence and kept herself busy, counting the clouds in the sky, listening to the wind in the trees, thinking about important things. After school, Amelia walked home by herself. Along the way, she practiced her ballet twirls. She sang I'm a Little Teapot. She picked dandelions and made herself a crown. On her way home, Amelia never felt big. One day, the door to the classroom opened and in walked the principal, Mrs. Radish. I would like you to welcome your new classmate, Susanna, she said. What a pipsqueak, whispered Lavinia. What a peanut, whispered Justine. What a shrimp, whispered Daphne. Susanna was a bunny, a very small bunny. Those girls are not being kind, are they? It's not okay to say things about the way people look. At recess, none of the bunnies wanted to play with Susanna. We can't turn the jump rope that low, said Lavinia. Your feet are too small for hopscotch, added Daphne. And the seesaw was out of the question. I think they're missing out on making some new friends. What do you think? That makes me sad that they were so unkind. Susanna raised her ears as high as they could go and walked over to the fence. Do you suppose she wishes she was a little bit taller? She raised her ears high? I bet so. It's funny how sometimes we wish we were something we weren't, and then other people wish for what we are. Hi, she said to Amelia, what are you doing? Counting the clouds in the sky. Looking down at little Susanna, Amelia felt enormous. The clouds are fluffy and puffy today, just like giant cotton candy, said Susanna. I love cotton candy. Amelia just kept counting. Don't you wish we could hop up to the sky and ride on the clouds, said Susanna. Amelia did not answer. Maybe I can help you. No, thank you, said Amelia. I'm a lot closer to the sky than you are. Now what's happening? Now Amelia's not being very kind, is she? She's not being very welcoming. Maybe she could say, yeah, why don't you stand here with me? Or yes, you can help, but she's sort of ignoring her. The next day at recess, Susanna walked right up to Amelia. Hi, said Susanna, are you counting clouds today? No, I'm listening to the wind in the trees, said Amelia. If we had umbrellas, we could set sail on the wind, said Susanna, and fly all around the world and visit India and Egypt and China. Shh, said Amelia. Can I listen to the wind with you? Susanna asked. I don't think so, said Amelia. You need really big ears to hear the wind. She's still not being kind, even though she knows what it feels like when people aren't kind, right? Seems like Susanna has a really good imagination, doesn't it? And so it went every day at recess. Susanna came over to the fence and asked Amelia what she was doing. And every day, Amelia had an answer. Spelling words that start with P, P-E-A, P-A-I-N, P-E-S-T, P-U-N-Y. That was not nice because she's spelling P, which isn't a big deal, but then she's spelling pain, pest, and puny, which means little. Or making dandelion crowns, or practicing plies, but Amelia never invited Susanna to join in. One afternoon, Mrs. Arugula announced that picture day was coming up. I expect you all to look your very best, she added. Don't forget to wear one of your dumb dandelion crowns, Lavina whispered to Amelia. Some of the other bunnies started to laugh. Wow, that was really hurtful, wasn't it? Ooh. All the way home, Amelia thought about the class picture. It was very possible she would have a tummy ache or a bad cold on picture day and have to stay home. I think she's feeling really kind of nervous and scared. She doesn't want to go, is what she's thinking. At recess the next day, Susanna looked different. There was a mysterious bulge in her jacket. Meet me on the other side of the playground, behind the bench, Susanna whispered to Amelia. I have a top secret plan for picture day. Amelia stared up at the sky. There were no clouds today. She raised her ears and listened. There was no wind blowing through the trees. She tried to think of something very important, but nothing came into her head. With a big bunny sigh, Amelia stood up and followed Susanna across the playground. Here she goes. There's Susanna. Susanna and Amelia sat on the ground behind the bench. Dandelion crowns are okay, Susanna said, but they droop too fast. Then Susanna showed Amelia what was under her jacket. We better get busy, said Susanna. We want to be the stars of the show. We do? Said Amelia. What do you think's in her box? On picture day, Amelia didn't have a tummy ache or a bad cold. She raised her ears as high as they would go and put on her favorite dress, her purple tights, and her party shoes. Susanna was waiting for Amelia by the schoolyard. The two bunnies finished getting ready for the class picture. Then they hurried into school. You see them back here? What do you think they're doing? Wow, look at that. They were making beads and necklaces, I think. Oh my, said Miss Arugula. Wow, look at all of her fancy things. I don't think you're allowed to wear tiaras for the class picture, said Lavinia. Tiaras are fine, said Miss Arugula, and quite original. Teacher was being nice, wasn't she? Amelia was a very big bunny, and Susanna was very small. But from then on, it didn't seem to matter. Together they counted the clouds in the sky and listened to the wind in the trees. They made jewelry and practiced spelling words. They twirled and sang, and one day they discovered that the seesaw was not out of the question. When you're on a teeter-totter, if the heavier person moves in from the end, if she sat on the end, she'd be too heavy. But if she moves in, then they balance each other out and it works. And that's the end. they both learned how to work together and have a friend, I think they're having a lot more fun than the other bunnies that were just being cranky to them, don't you? A very big bunny. I hope you enjoyed the story. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.